Welcome back, Summoners, to the Garena Premier League, and this is Week 1, Day 2, Match number 3. Previously, we saw No Illusion followers go through both of their games, losing to the Saigon Fantastic 5 in a very close series, and then coming back to completely smash the Insidious Gaming Rebirth team. And now it is the sisters team's turn, Insidious Gaming Legends, who will be going up against the Bangkok Titans in our third game of the night.
That's right, and ISG Legends, previously they were just known as Insidious Gaming back in the last split when there was only one Insidious Gaming roster in the GPL. But right now there are two teams now, so they have kind of used the Legends and Rebirth tag to differentiate themselves. And of course, Legends are coming back into the scene. You know, previously they were known as Insidious Gaming, but they're coming back with almost an entirely different roster.
Well, definitely, and it's not only Insidious Gaming Legends who have come back with a different roster. Bangkok Titans on their side, they have made some changes of their own, most notably the return of 007X in the jungle.
Yeah, so previously he was playing in the top lane as well, and I have sort of read through the website as well, the GPL website. So if you want to find out more information about player bios and you want to just, well, Nocturne has just visited the studio. Oh, okay, we're back. So yeah, if you want to find out more information about some of the players and you want to put the face to how the players kind of look like, do head on down to gpl.garena.com. You'll be able to find out more information about the players. So like I was saying, I was going through the bios of some of the players over here, and 007X was seen in the Winter Split and a couple of seasons before that as well. So previously he was playing in the top lane, and from what was said, he is kind of like the top laner, top laners in Thailand as well. So coming back into the regional scene now, playing in the jungle. Let's see what he can pull off in this debut match against ISG Legends, who is returning from last minute as well, just with a very different roster.
Definitely, and on the side of Insidious Gaming Legends, they have a new top laner, supposedly a Korean player playing for them in the top lane.
Oh man,
kind of mirrors what we're seeing in the NA scene with Sarah playing down there. We will be finding out how those communication issues are working out for that team. And speaking of which, Vera, the usual support, has gone over to Insidious Gaming Rebirth, which means their previous top laner, Zappy, formerly known as Darkness, will be playing in the bottom lane as a support.
Yeah, and BBTY going back to AD carry as well, and now, if I'm not wrong, it's going to be Equivocal playing in the mid lane as well. So a lot of small changes here and there, and of course with the new Korean top laner, like you have mentioned as well. So it feels like it's a global phenomenon to have a little splice of Korean in your roster so far. Not only in the NA side, and even recently with I believe it's Insight going over to Starhorn as well. So let's see if that's gonna shake things up over in the Garena Premier League.
But before that, let's actually take a look once again at today's matches.
Are we gonna see the roster here? All right, there we go. So this is the roster for today, actually. And so first match is going to be SF5 going up against NFL, which we already saw earlier. SF5 beat out NFL in a very close matchup. And then Neolution Fluids coming back in the second game to beat out Rebirth. So we have two more matches incoming your way. It is BKT coming up, going up against ISG Legends. That's the one that's coming right up after this. And of course, IPT going up against the Azubu Taipei Assassins to wrap things up for tonight.
So far we have finished two of those games, and now we are into game number 3, Bangkok Titans against Insidious Gaming Legends. Both teams are still in the lobby. They're trying to sort out some technical and connection issues between both of the teams, so that you don't see a repeat of what we saw the previous game with those extended pauses, with 15 minutes pauses, and then we have to talk about endless things about all sorts of random stuff, really.
Yeah, so let's keep our fingers crossed here and hope that none of these connection issues actually show up in the game itself. And just kind of talking about both teams again, we have talked a little bit about ISG Legends as a whole, as a returning team into the GPL. I want to talk a bit more about the Bangkok Titans, because if you look at the teams that have been in the GPL for the most part, most of the lower tier teams have kind of stepped it up a lot. If you think back to the spring split when they were playing in Group A, they actually have improved quite a fair bit if you just think about it. And they have given difficulties to some of the top-notch teams in the Taiwan region as well. So let's see if this is going to be their split to break through. Last split, we already had Saigon Fantastic 5 to be the team to break out of the lower tier, to move up into the brackets, and then, they finished off the split with a pretty good result as well. So let's see if this split is Bangkok Titans' turn to shine.
I have to say, in the previous split, they did pick up 2 games to improve their usual record of 0-10 or 1-9 to that of 2-8. This doesn't really look that impressive, but you actually have to watch the games to see the improvement of the team on a tactical level, from the way that they play in the pick and ban phase all the way to the execution itself. They actually gave a few teams a good run for their money in the later stages of the GPL when they decided, hey, we actually want to play this much more seriously.
Yeah, so if you think about it, I can kind of quote Skara from NA for this. He actually gave a comment about Coast when they were still playing in the NALCS. He used this very famous line: "They are a very good team until they lose the game." So I think that is one of the ways to look at Bangkok Titans, if you think about it, because they have improved their game plan tremendously. So it is not so much of a one-sided match now. And let's hope that they continue on with their momentum from last split, and then prove their worth in the current split. And let's see how close the games are going to be from now on. And there are some very interesting roster changes from Bangkok Titans as well. First one that you mentioned, 007X returning to the Garena Premier League. And then now, Intresso, who was kind of making the plays on the side of Bangkok Titans, is no longer playing for the team, or as a sub now, if I'm not wrong. But today, they are going to be fielding a very different mid laner.
Definitely indeed. And on the side of Insidious Gaming Legends, the earlier saw the sister team not doing too well, so they're going to try to be saving some face for the Singapore-Malaysian service by perhaps trying to beat out what is traditionally one of the bottom feeders in the GPL. If they were actually to lose this match, a lot of pride is definitely on the line.
Yeah, and notably saying as well, they are the top team for the Singapore-Malaysian side, because if you think back to the promotional tournaments, they are the one to beat out their sister team in a very close 3-2 fashion as well. And they are, notably the top team for the Singapore-Malaysian side. And let's hope that they can step it up a notch, coming back into the regional scene and playing with the big boys once again. And let's see how they'll fare. We will be starting things off in the pick and ban phase. The lightning signals just coming through over here. Let's hope no one returns to the lobby. And Kill now being banned away from the side of Bangkok Titans. I think definitely targeted at Slay over here. And for viewers who have been following the circuit so far, Slay is actually Rehavin from his previous IGN was Rehavin. So it is the same player, just with a different IGN.
So Lulu being the first 2 bans coming from Bangkok Titans, they definitely have done their homework in Insidious Gaming Legends. They like these 2 champions a lot. Once again, the Singapore and Malaysian teams, they really like the Lulu pick, and banning it out against them, even though they are on the raid side, is definitely a very smart choice. LeBlanc will be the first ban coming from Insidious Gaming Legends. And let's see what will be the second ban coming in so far, and that will be the Lee Sin. So 007X's Lee Sin will be banned out in this situation.
That's right. So we will not get any Lee Sin action. And picking out the Morgana for Zappy as well for the bottom lane support. So the thing about these 2 teams is that there has been a fair bit of roster swaps here and there, and with the new top laner coming in from IG Legends, who has almost no base records for any of the teams to do research on. So basically, I think this game, they are all going for very general bans, the powerhouses and the flavor of the months, just to say. So not much very specific bans per se, but just a test of the strengths overall for these 2 teams. So Nami is actually going to be the first pick here for the Bangkok Titans, and locking in the support first is a very interesting choice, because there are so much more power picks left open. And let's see what kind of concoction BKT is cooking up for Legends here tonight.
Concoction indeed, and Insidious Gaming, they are hovering over the Jax. I would think that BKT might have gone for the Jax as the first pick, but nonetheless, they went for Nami as the first pick. I remember in their very first game in the previous split, they also went for a support pick, Soraka, I believe, as the first pick in that case. So going for this very unconventional pick and ban strategy, prioritizing the Nami over other picks, and Insidious Gaming Legends, they will be going for the purple team, going for Jax and Kha'Zix. Syndra in the mid lane would fit this team very well.
Well, we might actually see the Zyra instead. And back then when Zappy, who was formerly known as Darkness, when he was playing the support role on the side of Singapore Sentinels, he did play a whole ton of Zyra during his time, and his Zyra pick was sort of renowned as well, and he did perform pretty well on that champion. So I think for him to make his return down into the bomb lane, just going back to returning back to something that he's very comfortable on. Not too surprisingly, actually. And Zyra does fairly well against Nami, so there's gonna be a lot of a lot of back and forth trading, and whoever just lands the skill shot first is gonna win in that matchup. And both champions actually function quite similarly if you think about it. Has a whole ton of harass and a whole ton of disengage if there's a need to.
Well, Yasuo is open in this game so far. We might see either team go for the option. Nami and Zyra are both very good enablers for the Yasuo wombo combo. Jax, however, is the top lane already for Insidious Gaming Legends. So if Insidious Gaming Legends were to go for Yasuo, that will be picked up by Rehavin, also now known as Slayer, in the mid lane. And on the side of Bangkok Titans, they will be locking Penton as their jungler and Shyvana for the top lane. So Bangkok Titans, they feel that the engaged power and earlier power spike that Shyvana brings to the table will help them out. We help them deal with the fact that Jax is slightly better in the late game.
Yeah, and you know, interesting that you mentioned Yasuo as well, because if you think about it, Bangkok Titans traditionally as a team, they like to go for the wombo combo team composition. So I would not be very surprised if BKT choose to bust out that Yasuo pick, given the fact that there's already a Nami in place, and you can use the knockout from the Dragon's Descent to, you know, chain that up with the last breath as well. So let's see what's the overall game plan for Bangkok Titans. But right now, looking back at ISG Legends again, locking in the Elite possibly for Aqua Vocal, so defaulting back to one of the flavor of the month junglers per se, and you know, locking in the Lucian for BBTY, who, you know, he is a player who has pretty much played in all of the roles in ISG Legends. Played in the jungle and played in the top lane, and now going back to the bomb lane again. And Lucian is definitely one of his go-to champions.
Well, Elias is also one of Equivocal's default go-tos in solo queue as well as in the local legend circuit. And we actually see Bangkok Titans, they will be picking up Corki as their AD carry and 6 in the mid lane. So they have a very strong poke composition coming from Bangkok Titans. And I have to say, coming from the previous split, it has been their poke compositions that have done the best against some of the more major powerhouses. Now the question will be, Insidious Gaming Legends, they have the Zyra, and they might go for Zed, yeah, but the Jax are two ways that they can engage onto this team composition of BKT. Elise also Vocal can kind of find a fix as well, but Insidious Gaming Legends, they want to pick up a very solid mid laner here that can help them find the engagements that they need against Bangkok Titans.
Look at Zappy just smiling away. I bet he's just trolling the casters with the Malzahar, Hovover, and now the Zillion as well. So,
well, Zillion is definitely a possibility here. I wouldn't necessarily agree with it in the champion pool, but we have seen the Zillion appear a few times in the Legend Circuit itself. Singapore Sentinels, I believe it was Cryonics who picked up the Zillion in the mid lane a few times, but it will be the Twisted Fate. And I was about to say this earlier, but Rehavin, Twisted Fate is also very beastly. In the previous game, we saw Master Chef SOFM become a little concoction of disaster
Master Chef
for the Insidious Gaming Rebirth team, and now it's IGL Slayer's turn to put on that Twisted Fate chef hat and say that, what's cooking? Can you smell what the Slayer is cooking?
Okay, I know what the reference is, but I'm not just gonna say it. For the viewers who get it, you will get it. If not, then too bad for you.
If
but
you guys
anyway,
got it, you are awesome.
You are awesome, but even if you don't get it, you're still awesome as well. So, actually, I think right now we are gonna hit into a highlight reel for these two teams who are gonna be playing tonight. So, just take a look for what these two teams have installed for you.
Now the IQ Redemption squad will be on the chase Baron Flashes forward, and we'll be fighting Super Mega Broken.
Percent damage based on the missing health there. Now Sek might get taken down here. Lantier will get taken down. Fantastic play by Sek. He is kiting everybody on HQ. He gets the double kill. Now Green Team might get taken down. The slow from the red buff. The quick draw coming out from Sek. He'll get a triple kill.
Was killed earlier on, getting also all over. Flash alongside with Commander says, oh, this is actually a really good play coming in. Auto attack and Inferno. TF โอ้โหสุรแปดจุดเต็มเท้าดึงแบบไปเป็นเดคอยแทนครับในจังหวะนี้แล้วเอฟเป้าไปรวบสวยครับตีนะครับแล้วไปครับแต่ไม่พออยู่ดีครับเลยนั่นโผล่มาแล้วครับเขามาแล้วครับแต่ตัวเขาบางไปนิดนึงครับแล้วเขาก็จมอยู่ตรงนั้นครับเป็นชิปเป็นคิวจากตี
โดงครับอยู่ในฤดูที่เรียกได้ว่าโดนฆ่าเลยแกเซียพิซซันขังไป2เลยครับจังหวะนี้มาเตอร์ยีเหลาไป1แล้วครับชาวีหายไปก่อนเลยจังหวะนี้ฮาเลลูยาเองไหลเข้าไปตามโดนยกเข้าไป2จังหวะนี้โตฟูเข้าไปแล้วเหลืออีกทางด้านเซตอีกเพียงคนเดียวครับแล้วก็เมดิเทตภาวนาตัวก็ไปสตันก็ไปในจังหวะนี้กูดูเหมือนจะไม่รอดแน่นอนแล้วพยายามปาก็ไปปาอีกหนึ่งครั้งพร้อมกับเบสออฟเอ็กซ์ไซด์ครับผม
It's going to be uncontested, but they are taking away the initiation. One man ulti.
Taking out a Kirby low flash over shut down from BBTY. However, the jungler is still alive for the single percent. They have to be a bit careful though. A lot of damage being caught on the SGS right now. They have to fight this Baron. They will take on the Baron, but now IMG try to turn around the fight. It's going to be Hallelujah in the pit with 4 members. SGS though decides to try and run away. Kylie was taken out. Hallelujah was taken out. Equitable though, still in a whole bunch of trouble, but Super Mega Leprechaun, there's a clean house. Double kill now for Zappy. Seth has to run for his life, and BBTY still chasing on. The last rocket doesn't kill him, but it's gonna be the Zap, and one more kill. Zappy still looking for the corner.
He got it.
He's chasing. He gets. And Penny's not going down anytime soon though, and the Solar Flare doesn't let through. This is goal time for ISG now. I feel the wild goal comes through. Penny jumping onto Rehab Flame, and the Agnes Embrace comes through. Ribena doesn't have any protection at all. Mashira's gonna get jumped on. Beeman now is gonna be the one to get locked down here. Everyone dropping one by one like flies from K-Tech.
I think it's going to be that one melee minion that Zare's going to try and get. No, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it's the Flash and the last. All right, we are back into the game, and we have a pause to just calm down on the action here, as this is going to be the third game for tonight. BKT going up against ISG Legends, and from what you have seen, some of the player profiles from before, and let's just cross our fingers and pray that this is going to be a quick one. Oh, there we go. Play is going to resume from here now on as well. So I just want to talk a little bit about some of these picks coming in for Bangkok Titans, and I love the fact that Sek has now, swapped over some of his champions pools and is now fielding core key for Bangkok Titans, and some players over at the NALCS, namely LTech and of course Sneaky as well, has found a lot of success bringing Corky to the table and to field that against Lucian. So let's see if Sek is going to be able to replicate that success to go up against BBTY in this particular matchup.
So on the raid side, Insidious Gaming Legends, they have dropped the water on the raid buff, so if any invade comes in from Bangkok Titans onto that, they will be able to spot it out. But we will have to see if the wall will expire by then. That is a very real possibility as Bangkok Titans. They will be taking a long way around in this case as Insidious Gaming Legends. They might reciprocate off their own with an invade into their opponent's raid buff. But at the moment, they're still waiting around. The ward, does it see them? Actually, I don't think so. Actually, it does spot them out, I believe, as you see multiple pings of Insidious Gaming Legends. Oh, it might not just be yet. Snayer is actually walking around. He's thinking of going in. Bangkok Titans, they might find an unsuspecting Twisted Fate over here. But it looks like the ward will finally spot him out. In fact, that is a 3-minute ward, so there is no possibility of the ward coming out in this situation. As Bangkok Titans, they will be able to walk out from that. They drop the shipping lens in the wrong location. And now Insidious Gaming, we might see a 5-on-5 at level 1 over here.
Yeah, so Bangkok Titans actually moved into the jungle and they expanded up.
Oh, they split up. Bangkok Titans have split
well.
up. If they meet the Insidious Gaming Legends team here, this will be disastrous for them. But Insidious Gaming, they are still camping this brush. G4, he might face check it, but it looks like he will be walking the safe way around. And Insidious Gaming, they will not be finding the first blood in this case, as they will be swapping around and picking up. Oh, they're actually going for a blue buff invade in this case. This is very interesting. There are no wards at this point of time. This is a very delayed invade. They drop the ward across. This should be a signal. 007X, he actually doesn't get the smite over, as we actually see Equivocal stealing the blue buff for himself. This is going really well for the Insidious Gaming team. But nonetheless, Bangkok Titans, they have swapped the bottom lane up into the top lane. So Insidious Gaming Legends.
Yeah, this is some very smart play for ISG Legends over here. They saw for a fact that BKT actually expanded a full round of the Trinket wards. So what they did was to, since they got their positioning, they just walked down to the blue buff and then they just went in. Oh,
actually, now Han is in a whole lot of trouble. 007X actually finds him. He doesn't have the stun just yet. Now Warlock is on the chase. He hasn't added the burnout just yet. Now there we go. He has the burnout. Han dropped to one last stick, and Warlock is able to pick up the kill for himself. And that's first blood. The Bangkok Titans.
Yeah, that's right. And I was about to say that Legends actually played it quite smart over here, as they, know for a fact that where BKT is, and then they just went in for the aggressive play. But they just got
BBTY, the healer's job, exhausted job as well. BBTY is level 1, however, so Sack has got 2 skills up against him in this case. We actually see Sack actually being forced to flash out there. Here comes Level 3 flashes, and he gets the kill for himself. That's the return kill, and the crowd goes wild.
That's right, very good play from BBTY, as well as both of the dual lane for BBTY and Zappy just made the play happen all so easily. Something that I want to commend for ISG Legends as a whole. If you look to their track records in the Singapore-Malaysian circuit, they traditionally have a pretty good early to mid game, a total different from ISG Rebirth in that sense. They often capitalize on their early game and then just snowball the mid game from there. So in that sense, they don't necessarily need to go for team fights. Instead, they are very dependent on their laning phase and on the picks that they create much earlier on. So they're just defaulting back to some of their playstyle. But the thing though is that they did give away first blood to Warlock down that bottom lane. And now Han is going to be playing a bit more safer because he needs to, he doesn't have that additional door runs advantage. So if Warlock can exploit that, then BKT is going to be able to, pull themselves ahead in this early to mid-game matchup.
However, the only this is in the form of the extra Doran shield the Warlock has, so he will not be dealing additional damage onto the Jax, but it will mean that Jax doesn't trade as well back against him. But now Equivocal, he will be moving around into the mid, and Equivocal very proficient on the Elise. His cocoons have been extremely deadly whenever we see him play. And just a little bit of points about the way Insidious Gaming Legends like to play. Although yes, I wouldn't say they are dependent on the laning phase. Traditionally, it has been very strong, but the fact is the rotations towards the mid game and the understanding of early game shenanigans and rotations, especially during these parts of the game, have been very solid. And that was the reason why they came out victorious against the sister team Insidious Gaming Rebirth in the Legends Circuit Finals.
Yeah, and not only that, I just feel like overall as a whole, Equivocal, when he shifted to the jungle position, he has a much better timing when it comes to the ganks, and he has a much better synergy as a whole when it comes to finding the ganks for his teams. And right now he's just looking around the brush area down the bottom lane, and I think he's just waiting for Hunt to set things up. And Warlock playing slightly defensively here. I think he kind of smelling things up with his Dragon Breath here. But look at the Cocoon Lens
the
though.
Cocoon excellent one from him. He gets the start to Warlock. The counter strike is good. Now Warlock, he doesn't have his flash available to him, but nonetheless, oh wait, he doesn't have the flash, but the burnout will give him enough movement speed to be able to escape from that one safely.
Yeah, and you know, just like I was talking about it as well. So Equivocal making a very patient play, lands the Cocoon on the exact timing, and that was just go time for Han to go off from there. So, you know, Warlock definitely feeling the pressure, but, you know, just like we mentioned earlier, he still has that Doran shield to keep himself back up. So 007X making an appearance down at the bottom lane, will not get spotted out at all. So let's see if he can get the gank down.
Oh, this is very dangerous. 007X is in vision. He uses the forward jump to jump away to safety. Now Han using very good knowledge of the mechanics of the jacks to be able to escape from that one safety. But now he's not in the clear just yet as Warlock turns around, gets the burnout to him and does a whole lot of damage onto Han.
And 007X returning down to the bottom lane as well. So I think he's a bit undecisive on which route he actually wants to take. So he's sitting around quite a fair bit here. So if Equivocal can just use that to his advantage. Right now he's one level ahead of 007X. So let's see if this gang is actually going to work out against Han. Right now he's level 5, still has that counter strike up his sleeve, still has his flash as well. So it's not exactly the best position to try to gank out against the Vex, but instead Equivocal is going to focus in the mid lane.
Down here in the mid lane, Gold Card lands, but Equivocal is nowhere near as the Satchel Charge is good and he is able to get the distance he needs in order to avoid the Cocoon. And now we actually see 007X actually moving deep in his opponent's jungle to get some counter jungling going on. They saw Equivocal appear in the mid lane, so they have an idea of where the opponent's jungle is, and 007X knows that it is safe for him to move in deep. But now, the second rotation of buff has come up, and Equivocal, he will be going for this blue buff sleeve once again.
Yeah, and it's not only because of the fact that Legends know the timing for the blue buff, it's also for a fact, you know, they have the information to know that 007X is still lurking around at the bottom lane, because the ward did kind of spot him out over there, so they feel that it's a very safe move for them to do so. So that's going to cripple 007X when it comes to levels, and that's going to affect the level 6 gank from now on, because if you think about it, you would want to be ahead in levels at least when you are playing that Panther in the jungle. You want to get that level 6 as quickly as possible to lay down that global threat.
However, Lloyd, he did actually manage to spot out the buff camp clear coming from Equivocal. So this will give Bangkok Titans the information that they need to kind of guess Equivocal's jungling path. So now that they know that he will be going for the blue buff at 7 minutes, he will be moving on to his own red buff subsequently. And then the question is he going to be ganking top or mid before moving on to the buffs on the lower side of the map?
So right now I have to say that I am slightly impressed by what Sack is doing over here. Even though he did go down in that 2v2 exchange up in the top lane, he has stayed relevant in terms of CS, and I think that's what is very important whenever you're playing this Corki. And right now in the mid lane as well, we do see G4 being harassed out by Rehavin. Oh, sorry, not Rehavin anymore. Now he's called Slayer. Slayer in the mid lane, and like you mentioned in the pre-game as well, it is a champion that he is very comfortable on. And you know, we did see the CS discrepancy, and of course, down at the bottom lane, when you have these two solo laners going up against each other, Han now having a close to 20 CS gold, CS lead over Warlock now, and is now making his way to the mid lane.
Oh, Equivocal actually spots out 007X. He knows he has a level advantage. He drops the Cocoon, but now stay in the mid lane, dueling out with G4. He doesn't have the cost just up yet. Here comes the cycle of cards, but Han comes in from the sides. He goes that the counter strike isn't good enough, and G4 and 007X will be able to escape from that one.
Yep, and you know what this means is that it's gonna give Warlock some free time down in the bottom lane. But speaking about free time, is actually the duo of BBTY and Zappy that is just having their own merry time up in the top lane. And it looks like the top lane turret is gonna go down very quickly. So BBTY is gonna land a final shot, and that's gonna open up the map for themselves. So 2,000 gold in the advantage of ISG Legends.
Now this is huge for Insidious Gaming Legends, because now they have a window of time to press an opportunity. They have an option for the Dragon, they have an option in the mid lane as well, because now Bangkok Titans, they will be looking to trade the objective by counter pushing to go back for the top lane as well. But it looks like they will be defaulting back into the top lane to try and hold off the push for as long as possible, and they'll just be considering that, okay, we took the outer lane turret, we're just going to let it open up the map a bit more, wait for a next rotation of buffs, and because that turret is already down, your blue buff is a lot more exposed as compared to previously.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think it's very important to have blue buff control, especially against the Ziggs, because if you are able to do so, you can limit his wave clear capabilities. But look at what Legends are actually trying to do now. So with a very quick rotation, it is actually only Zappy that is moving down here. So they are leaving BBTY up in the top lane. So with the plants and with Equivocal, with the Spylings as well, they should be able to take out this Dragon very, very quickly. And this is something that we have seen in the promotional tournament as well, that Legends have a very good dragon control, and they often exploit that. As we have that rotating circle, look at just
there we go. That's the observer acknowledging the rotations coming from Insidious.
That is right. So the rotations from IGL Legends actually grabbed themselves the first dragon of the game, and now everyone's just going back to the merry ways and just continuing to farm up in their own lanes itself.
It's not only in the Legends circuit, previously in the Garena Premier League against some of these teams, Insidious Gaming, they will always count the wards of their opponents and try and get a good guess and get a good read of where the opponent has got vision control over. And the moment that they feel that the opponent does have control over the dragon pit, they just go in and pick that up for themselves. The moment they push mid lane out, or they know that their opponent's jungler is at a certain disadvantage.
Yeah, so the bomb lane, oh, hold on, here comes the Detonate Gate combo, and Sack is just gonna Valkyrie away and flash out as well. So now Zappy going one-on-one against G4, gonna get exhausted up and hopped into the air. So now Equivocal trying to follow up with the cocoon, but not landing that skill shot as well. Now teleport comes in from Han. This is gonna be the fight. No, actually Warlock's the one that's coming in, and Warlock goes in with the Dragon Descent. Big kill now coming in for Warlock. Here comes the ultimate from 007X as well. They wanna chase down onto Zappy, but he's just too far away from there. And now Sack with the very aggressive Valkyrie over the wall as well, and takes a full culling to the face. But here comes the heal, and that's gonna be enough to keep him alive, as now Sack picks up the kill onto BBTY 007X as well. But now Han jumps in for the cleanup, so some more kills all across the board, but it is still BKT that is coming up ahead in that entire exchange.
So a little bit of a sloppy play coming in from the Insidious Gaming Legends team. First of all, it was a miscalculated play coming from Slayer, teleporting into the top lane and kind of miscalculating and miscalibrating the position. He should be in to get a correct gank off, but nonetheless, let's take a look at the replay of what happened in the massive fight. I'll take you through this one. So we see this is midway through the fight already, and this is the amazing 3-man's Dragon Descent. I felt that this was a little bit of a mistake coming from Insidious Gaming's Legends. They knew that Dragon's Descent was up and they should have split up in order to deal with it. But as a result, they all clumped up together and they ended up in this very split and very awkward situation. And as a result, BBTY, he didn't really know whether to go in or not. And now this is him dealing out Sack and unable to dodge out the major skill shots. And with the heal and backup coming from Lloyd as well, Sack is able to pick up the kill onto him.
Yeah, so Bangkok Titans cashing in on their advantages here so far. And I have to say, Warlock demonstrating how much it has grown from the spring split as well, because previously he didn't have that good of a teleport timing, but this time around, making the plays happen with the Dragon's Descent, with the 3-man knockup is definitely very commendable on his end. But with that 2-kill advantage up the sleeves, Bangkok Titans are still behind in gold count, mainly because of that Twisted Fate passive, and of course due to the fact that Legends was able to pick up the first turret as well as the first dragon.
Definitely indeed so far. The top lane, traditionally the marksman and support duo isn't really there, but they have picked up the first turret for themselves, and that has allowed them to kind of get a lead and a lot of map pressure. And now we actually saw the third rotation buffs once again being picked up by Equivocal, and I have to say that is a very large portion of where all this goal is going, because Equivocal is consistently picking up these 3 buff starts.
3 buff starts. Looks like his Spider Sense is
it's
guiding
not
him.
a start anymore, but he's picking up 3 buffs every time the buff rotations come up.
He needs the buff, and he's the Spider King. He demands for the buffs, and I think the Spider Sense is just guiding him very well in the jungle over here. As compared to Panther, sometimes the Spartan just gets lost in the jungle, doesn't know where to go. It's not the colossal arena per se. Not exactly that on Summoner's Rift as well, so definitely Equivocal coming up on top with that one. And with all that said though, something that we have to commend ISG Legends about, even though there has been a lot of net movements, they are keeping ahead in CS as well, all across the board. The only one that's close is only from Warlock, with 2 kills up his sleeve and having that 1 assist as well.
Okay, so G4 was actually able to secure the blue buff for his team this time around, but nonetheless, Insidious Gaming Legends, they still have a 2.2k goal lead over the opponents in this situation. And now BBQ and Zappy, they have decided to move into the mid lane because the top lane is way too far pushed up for them to be able to farm safely, and now there's going to be a lot of pressure for the Ziggs wave clear to be happening. This is one good thing about Bangkok Titans lineup. They know that they really like the Ziggs pick because it allows them to farm very safely, and if anything happens, they fall behind. The Ziggs is always there to prevent their opponents from taking objectives and turrets way too quickly.
Yeah, the glaring problem with BKT and their team composition though is that they don't exactly have a very unified team when you think about it. Yes, there is that tidal wave to help zone out, and of course there is that satchel charge as well as the explosive minefield to create some sort of zone for Corki to lay down the herd. But overall, if you look at Legends team composition with Twisted Fate and Jax, they are going to be a split pushing menace if they choose to do so. If that's the case that they want to go for that, then Bangkok Titans is going to face the trouble of a 1-3-1 menace split pushing, and they might not have the best answers to it because you can only focus the Mega Inferno Bomb down onto one lane, and you might not be able to clear all 3 waves at one time.
Here we go, Grand Skyfall coming on the Insidious Gaming Legends. This is the counterplay to the Destiny Gate combination, and now Slayer is kind of way out of position. Looks like he will be caught up here. Oh, excellent goal card, but that's just not enough. Now Sack is getting lots of damage on him. There's one. There's two. Oh, he dodges the next one now. He uses the Destiny Gate. He tries to get out of here, but 777X has his number and will be picking up. And here comes the counterplay in the bottom lane. Here comes the tower dive. The Mega Inferno Bomb is hard able to escape from that. He will be able to get out of there, and Equivocal uses the repel to escape from that situation as well. While Zappy finds out G4 in this situation and is dropping lots of damage onto him with those stuns. But looks like they will not be finding Q onto G4, and because they have the time onto this dragon, they will be starting up on themselves. But this is very dangerous because the 6 poke from those bouncing bombs is going to do so much damage. Oh, hard drop. One more bouncing bomb will be able to take him up, but there's no Mega Inferno Bomb in this case. So in this Gaming Legends, they pick up the dragon, and they will be able to escape from that.
Yep, so Slayer pulling a Darren there as, his death just means more kills and more objectives for ISG Legends over there. So they pick up 1 kill, but they got the better end of the deal over there because they managed to take out the dragon as well. But BKT responding very well off their own as well. So finally they do go for the mid lane turret, and they clear that out for as well. So that will open up the map a lot, better as compared to ISG Legends. But that's it. They do take out the bottom lane turret as well, as now BBTI in some of trouble against Warlock over here. I think he should be able to escape though.
Oh no, 007X come around from the side, but Warlock is able to pick up the solo kill by himself, and BBTI will be going down. It felt like he got a little bit too confident there, and as a result, overextended and dropped down to Warlock in that situation. So the Shyvana 3-1-1 is starting to become a very, very scary dragon in that case. And on the side of Insidious Gaming Legends, we don't really have anyone with a Dragon Slayer skin. So the question is, who will slay the dragon this game?
Yeah, and for BBTI, it's very questionable because if you think about it, he did have his heal, he does have his flash as well, and like you mentioned, 007X was just right around the corner, so I think he knew for a fact that his end was coming to an end soon, so he just decided not to, just to hold on to the summoner spells and just give over the kill. So right now, Bangkok Titans still not in the lead, despite of the fact of their rotations, and even for the fact that they have the kill advantage over here. So ISG Legends, good job of keeping the gold elite in check just by taking out all these global objectives for themselves. And it's somewhat of a very iconic game style for them, just to secure the dragon, secure the turrets all across the board. So it doesn't matter if they are down in terms of kills.
Definitely, and now on the side of Bangkok Titans, with this sort of Q lead, they might feel the confidence to be able to start pressuring onto the side of Insidious Gaming Legends. They have a very good poke and siege composition, the poke coming in from Corki and the wave clear coming from Ziggs as well. If they were to set up in any lane or perhaps the top lane, they should be able to find the outer turrets pretty easily. It's only when they start to move into the inner turrets when it starts to become very dangerous, because that makes them a lot more susceptible and vulnerable to a gang around from the back from the Jax or an Elise Cocoon landing onto someone when Elise decides to come from the sides.
Yeah, I think that BBTY has to be a bit more careful with his positioning though, because if you look at it, him and Sack both have been just freezing up the waves and then farming as much as possible. But for Sack, He has caught up in CS and, finished up the Trinity Force as well. So he's going to have a lot more burst when it comes to those spell rotations. And BB2I has always been caught in a position when he doesn't need to be. So if Bangkok Titan can exploit that weakness, then they can continue to lay on this aggression as much as possible.
Definitely indeed. Han has been doing a good job of keeping up his CS to the Shyvana, although he has consistently been behind a kill or even now 2 kills the entire game. So now Warlock, he will be putting the pressure onto the top lane Bangkok Titans. They know that the Shyvana is stronger at this point in time with the Sunfire's kit completed, and they want to be exercising that option by pushing down this top lane turret as quickly as possible. One very interesting to note, however, is that Han has elected to go for a Trinity Force this game instead of your traditional play of the Rune King.
I think he just wants to get the mid-game power spike as quickly as possible. And, if this game drags on, I have to say that it's going to be a pretty even matchup, except for the fact that Han is just going to be a much more harder carry as compared to Warlock. But because of the fact that G4 is going to scale up quite effectively, now having the needlessly large rod as well, so he's going to be able to clear waves very, very quickly. So Legends might then have to explore the fact of what I was talking about earlier with the split push strategy. And that's going to give BKT a fair bit of trouble. So let's see what's going to be the decision here. But meanwhile, we did see BKT now finally having a good turret advantage over IG Legends as they take out the final outer turret, which is up in the top lane.
But nonetheless, it is very interesting. Going back to this Trinity Force pickup, usually the Dragon Slaying item is a Blur of the Rune King. If your AD carry doesn't have the Blur of the Rune King, your corresponding top laner doesn't have the Blur of the Rune King. A lot of teams end up finding themselves struggling to deal with a Shyvana. Jax, yes, he does skill well into the late game, but I have to question him without the Blur of the Rune King in this case, and Shyvana picking up one of her own now. Will they be able to deal with Shyvana come about 30 minutes into the game?
The good thing is that Warlock at this point of time doesn't have the biggest damage threat as of yet as compared to Han, because he has completed the Trinity Force, so he's going to be a much bigger brawler as compared to Warlock. But the thing is, Warlock's just going to stick to the carries as much as possible, and he does have the speed up from Lloyd and some disruptions from 007X as well. And we did see G4 with a very good play with the Explosive Mindfield and Satchel Charge to zone out Slayer as well. So he has sort of proven his worth as a Ziggs player and landing those bombs time and time again as well. So overall, so far in this game, it has been pretty quiet so far, but BKT keeping that goal lead as close as possible. So 22 minutes in, a very even game between these two teams, and that goes to show the kind of growth BKT has proceeded on from the spring split.
No, I feel like the game has been slowing down a little bit because BKT, they don't really feel that comfortable moving into the opponent's half of the map just yet in order to find those picks into the inner turret, so they're trying to slow it down, and maybe because this is their kill lead and turret lead makes them feel deceptively stronger than their opponents, but in fact they are behind about 1,000 gold in this case. So perhaps they're trying to wait for the point of time where they have an item advantage over their counterparts before they try to start any movements in their opponent's half of the map. But unbeknownst to them, Insidious Gaming Legends are actually the ones with the goal lead in this scenario and will be the ones to hit the power spike first.
Yeah, Dragon is now alive, and these two teams will sure be looking as a contention over here. But Slayer looks like he wants to go back and get some items out for himself. But the good thing for him is that he does have the Destiny Gate combo to try to get back here. He does have that Zhonya's Hourglass completed already, so he can do that all infamous Messiah bait, just use that gate in the middle of the team and then just baiting everyone into thinking that that's the initiation, and then have his team follow up as well. So both teams now posturing around the Dragon Pit area, and BKT actually has a small positional advantage, and they are going to start the Dragon off over here. Let's see if the fight's going to happen.
So they're rushing for the Dragon. Han jumps in the format. The counter strike is going against 4 people. Slayer uses the last thing, and he gets the gold off. The Han drop extremely low. Is he able to do any more damage? He chooses to jump out there. Here comes Warlock once again. He has been the MVP of the game so far. Grand Skyfall will be coming. He will be trying to find BBTY in this situation. So far, only Han has gone out on the side of them. But G4 drop extremely now. Equivocal on the chase. Will he be able to get the execute? Excellent power from Light. Equivocal on the chase. Oh! G4! He turns around and gets the kill. 2 for 2 so far, but that's not the end of it. Here we go. BBTY finds the kill on the Lloyd. A very squishy fish and a dead fish indeed.
So overall, it is going to be a 3 for 2 trade in the favor of Legends, actually. Are we going to see a replay of what's going on here? Looks like that's not the case, as Life what's going on live now is that there's going to be the Dragon attempt starting off for Legends over here, knowing for the fact that both junglers are now down. They have the numbers advantage, so they are going to go straight for that. So ISG Legends once again exerting the pressure. So we now have the replay to recall what happens over here.
So once again, I'll be recapping this fight as the Grand Sky 4 will be coming. This is just genius from Zappy, using the strangling roots to root him to place. The moment he lands, this is the changes to me. It means that the Pantheon is unable to jump out of the circle, and Zappy, very well, he knew the timing, he locked him up and prevented him from getting the turnaround. And this is G4 using the very clutch bomb to prevent the execute just in the middle of that animation. If that had gone through for a split second more, G4 would be a very dead Yordle.
Ooh, and the bouncing ball landing onto BBTY once again. And there's something that went terribly wrong for BKT in that fight over there. It's the fact that I feel like, Lloyd just popped that tidal wave much earlier than he needed to. And of course, for the fact that 007X chose to re-engage in a fight when he was down to about quarter of his HP. And it was just simply a free Spartan to pick up on the side of ISG Legends. So, for that, ISG Legends pick up the Dragon for themselves and pull back in terms of kill count as well. So right now they are 2,000 goldie ahead of Bangkok Titans. But then again, we are now 26 minutes into the game. So this 2,000 goldie is not going to mean as much as it is going to be in the early game stages. And now BKT looking to poke down onto the mid lane turret.
To say though, Insidious Gaming Legends, they have been playing very reactionarily this entire game. Yes, they did proactively take the first 2 dragons, but ever since then, they have been kind of slowing things off after the first 2 turrets as well. And now is Bangkok Titans have been the one to make the noise, and Insidious Gaming, they have been the ones to reply. Although yes, the replies have been good so far, it is a little bit questionable because the Jax went for a Trinity Force instead of the traditional Build a Rune King, which means that he will be hitting a power spike window, which is going to expire the moment Shyvana starts to get her own Build a Rune King, or perhaps a secondary tank item in this case. So in this situation, they are trying to go for a skill, and here comes the teleport coming in. Cocoon locks up onto G4. Will they be able to find a 6? He's knocked up, and he manages to get out there, but BBTO is coming around from the back. But nonetheless, he will find a kill onto the Yordle. Now Warlock once again using the Dragon's Descent. This Shyvana is a very big problem, and Han is able to survive. Now Warlock 1 against 2. Han actually makes a mistake of stepping onto the 6 bombs, and now Warlock is on the run. Go-kart lands, and is that gonna be the kill? That's the ace, and BBTY will finish things up in the favor of Insidious Gaming Legends.
Very nice play from ISG Legends over there. As we head into a replay to see actually what happened over here, and if I'm not wrong, I actually caught Slayer in the back actually accidentally activating the Zhonya's. Look over here as, I think that's the Zhonya's, and subsequently it's going to be the chase over here as ISG Legends now chase onto the fight as the Strangleton's now laid down. Akrivoka focusing his efforts down onto G4 over here. And look at the flank from BBTY. Usually it's the top laner, but this time around, BBTY is fearless as he goes to the backline, snipes down G4. Sack gets the kill onto Zappy, and Warlock sticks onto Akrivoka as he takes him down. But now Han doing the cleanup duty over here. Sack is just way too forward to get the backup of the turret over here, and it was just simple cleanup duties for the rest of the ISG squad. Look at this 4 buff on 2 champions. No way he's gonna run, he's just gonna go down.
Oh, very convincing fight taken by Insidious Gaming Legends. The kill score 11-11, but now they have a much bigger goal lead in their pockets, but they weren't able to convert that into any objectives thus far. But that will be a very big confidence booster for Insidious Gaming Legends. But what I would like to see is them take more proactive approaches, use the Destiny Gate combination to try and find more picks around the map. So for Bangkok Titans, they have kind of been playing this in a very bearish form, where they just simply move around the map together, do things together as an entire group, and try to squeeze out advantages out of Insidious Gaming Legends. What the responses from them have been good. The fact that the Jax went for Trinity Force instead of the Blade Ranking means that Shyvana will start to outscale the Jax in the later parts of the game. And we already see every time Warlock jumps into the backline, the entire Insidious Gaming Legends team have a very hard time dealing with him.
I want to kind of point out to the item choices that Akrivoka has gone for right now. He has rushed that very early locket of the Iron Solari, and that's gonna give this area of effect magic resist to the entire team. And I have to say that is one of the perfect answers against BKT's team comp over here. If you look at it, a lot of damage, a lot of poke damage coming out from G4, and a huge portion of the damage from Sack is going to be magic damage as well. And even the flames from the burnout from Warlock is magic damage as well. So having the extra shield extra AoE magic resist is definitely going to help.
Here we go, Grand Scarf for BBT1. Zap in a whole lot of trouble. He dashes out there. Zappy will be the target focus. Strangletons are dropped. He gets the 3-man knockup. And here we go. The true damage drops onto them. Equivocal now on the run. He dropped the shield, but it's just not enough. It's a 1-for-0. 007X barely escaping with his life in that situation.
He picked up the kill out in that one as well. So Zappy, even though he was in a position to sort of bait it up for his teammates, he went down and, you know, overall it was just a very close call. 007X made it out alive out of that one. But the thing is, BKT, they're not able to transit that into any form of objectives at all. So it's not too bad of a trade for ISG Legends. So they might just want to go ahead and try to contest with the blue buff over here, cripple that away from G4, who is pretty low on mana as well.
Now it's 30 minutes into the game. Slayer successfully steals away the blue buff for his side. But this is the point of time where we start to see a lot of teams start to do this very intricate Baron dance. We haven't seen that too much in the earlier parts of the game today, but I hope Insidious Gaming Legends, they are able to play the vision war and establish the vision control to successfully pull off the Baron dance against Bangkok Titans in this case.
Very interesting turnaround in terms of CS over here, if you look at it. Warlock now and Sec has a much better CS lead over their counterparts over here, and now ISG Legends, once again, I believe this is the 4th dragon that they have taken in a row now, so they are pretty much just surviving on that dragon goal to keep themselves ahead of the curve, ahead of the game here. And now Bangkok Titans, I believe they have an idea of what's going on over here, so they might actually try to sneak a Baron away, but now 007X has to be very careful over here. He is slightly out of position, and Legends chose not to capitalize on that. Doesn't have vision on the remaining team as well. And now Hunt is down the bomb lane, creating some side noises for the Legends team, but overall Bangkok Titans still going to be able to respond to what they have in store for them.
Oh, BKT, they will be starting out onto this Baron, but the moment they see the wall being dropped down by the Insidious Gaming team, they will choose to back away from this. And here comes the split push option being executed by the Insidious Gaming team, with Han being sent into the bottom lane. He doesn't really create a huge wave, but a wave in the bottom lane should be enough to push down and knock on the bottom lane turret. And it looks like they will be sending Warlock to decide. They will be deciding to send Warlock to go clean that up. And now BBTI, he will be cleaning up this pink bot. This is the Baron dance. Oh, he triggers the aggro onto Baron.
Oh,
They lock more in the
wow.
place, are able to find the kill out here. Now there's 1 shot, 2 shots from Baron, but Baron decides to do the raw for the magic debuff instead. So Lloyd is able to escape away from that.
And it's a lot of damage from Baron as ISG Legends just paid tributes to Baron Nashor as the 6th player of the team here, as you know, just assisting the team as well. So once again, ISG Legends just posturing around the Baron Nashor area, and you know, their dragon control has been pretty solid all throughout the game. In fact, they are the only team to be taking dragons. So let's see if they can replicate the same results when it comes to this Baron over here. And now with Warlock creating, he has been counter shoving out this wall lane. And now, oh, hold on, in the mid lane, Slayer actually goes in for the Destiny Gate combo, but doesn't get anyone off. And great tidal wave response from Lloyd, but that is the ultimate down from the support there.
Actually, now Han, he will be facing off against Warlock. Will they go for a duel, or will Han instead decide to try and clear out the wave? And clear out the wave will be his option, as both teams are just dancing back and forth. While they are sending the solo laners to this far off lane, they're trying to execute the split push, as well as exercise the option of using the teleport summoner spell if any fight should happen.
I have to point out with Equivocal's item choices again, he has opted to go for the boots of the cooldown boots over here. So not a very common choice for elite players per se, but I think he just wants to get that extra few seconds of those microseconds of cooldown to help him land more cocoons and to go in for more engages in this one. So let's see if that's going to help him.
Just my explanation for the cooldown boost, because they know they're up against a Ziggs and Corki composition. If they face down a Siege composition, what are the only ways they can engage? Either a Destiny Gate combination from Slayer going in, that's very risky. You kind of want to do that as a follow-up, or perhaps an engagement coming from Han, or the best case scenario would be a cocoon being landed from Elise. But what happens is that it's your cocoons and whatever cooldowns that has against the bombs that will be being chucked up by G4. And oh, there we go, flash cocoon, Destiny Gate coming in, and the flash from Slayer coming in as well. Sack being dropped as Trino, would he be able to find a kill? Here comes the Grand Sky for the cocoon misses onto him, and now he goes on the BBTR, but Zappy will be able to secure the kill as 007X will fall to his death in that situation.
And now down the bomb lane, Han in a bit of trouble against Warlock over here, and now he has to try to run for his life over here. Warlock will be able to chase with the burnout, but it's going to be the leap attack. It's now Han standing around in the area. Now BBTY actually over at the blue buff, goes over to BBTY as well, and now it's going to be the Dragon attempt for Legends over here. The Baron attempt for ISG Legends over here. Knowing for a fact that the jungler is down, so there's no way that BKT is going to be able to contest for this at all. And there we go now. BBT has secured the Baron for ISG Legends, but they might just lose the second tier turret in exchange for it.
Well, definitely Worth in that case. Worth in caps in all chat indeed, as
Hashtag
Nahan
Worth.
is able to actually get into bottom lane to defend this push coming in from Warlock. And interesting enough, he goes for Randuin's Omen and will now be going for the Banshee's View for himself. So we definitely will not be seeing actually. Here comes the Destiny Gate combination and BB2I with a follow-up as well. Oh, Relentless Pursuit will be coming in, and the pursuit is relentless indeed as the go-kart will land. 2 plants are laid down, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, there's just no way that he's gonna run out of there. And a very nicely positioned, Destiny combination from Slayer as well. And I have to say, one of the highest risk of using that TF as well when you want to use that Destiny Gate combination, because when you use that, you have to position, you have to try to predict where the enemy is going. So even though Warlock blew the Dragon's Descent, there was no way he's gonna get out there with the multiple go-karts locking him down.
So now Bangkok Titans, they are on a very big back foot now, and they have to think about what are they going to do, in order to overcome this deficit. Earlier on, they were able to keep things in check, keeping the gold deficit about between 1,000 to 3,000 gold, but now they are facing an 8,000 gold deficit, with most of the major carries picking up their major items as well. Although you could see that Ziggs will be able to clear out the waves indefinitely, we might be seeing a very slow and painful death. Insidious Gaming Legends decides not to play things too risky, wait to find a pick onto G4, who is going to become a very large focus of whatever picks that they decide to find now, or perhaps Sec as well. And then after that, the moment either Sec or G4 goes down in Insidious Gaming Legends, they will be able to pick up objectives, more objectives for themselves.
I almost feel like this is the time when BKT and their communications are slowly crumbling apart. Because if you think about, BKT and 007X when he was up in the top lane, he actually dove in without any form of backup at all. And of course down in the bottom lane as well with Warlock. He did secure the second tier turret, but at the cost of his life.
There we go, Destiny being popped in, and Nami decides to turn around, throw a bubble, lock up Slayer in the situation, and water the plants that Zara has been laying down as well. Now Warlock actually being caught up by Equivocal, but there's no one to follow up in the situation. The focus for Insidious Gaming, they will be trying to press the Baron option onto this bottom lane tier 2 turret, as the rest of the members will be gathering around here. But the AD carry BBTY is not just here yet, so they will not be able to get the shred that they want to on this turret just yet. Okay, BBTY is finally here. Look at the amount of whiff that's coming in from G4 and Sec. Oh, they get the stun onto Warlock, but it's a very tanky Shyvana they're dealing with. And just look at the poke coming in from Sec as well as G4. Those rockets as well as the bouncing bombs are just chunking away at the health of Insidious Gaming. And once again, they are definitely the Dragon Slayers this game, as they are killing the main dragon. But that is not the biggest problem right now. It's the Shyvana dragon that they have to be worried about as this game goes longer.
So one more dragon, and I think Dragon Slayer is a underestimation. They are probably the dragon exterminator in this game, as they take down the 5th dragon for themselves.
Oh, but it's like what I said, they need the key dragon now is not the one that gives you global gold. It's the one on the side of Bangkok Titans. It's called Warlock. He is 5, 3, and 2 right now. Sunfire Escape, Banshee's View, Blood of the Rune King. He's been causing so much problem for Insidious Gaming Legends so far.
Yeah, and I'm a bit surprised that Legends have not explored the option of going for the 1-3-1 split push. Because if you think about it, there's a lot of turret pushing strengths from the ISG Legends team composition at this point of time. Because Slayer has completed his Lich Bane, so he can wards down to any one of the lanes, use those blue cards or red cards or gold cards, whichever color he chooses to please, and then take down the turret as quickly as possible and then port out of there. And then of course there's going to be Han as well, because he is quite mobile, because he is on that Jax, and of course he can explore that teleport option to get out there as well. And if you look at over as a whole, Equivocal, BBTY and Zappy, if they just line their skill shots up properly, there's almost close to 0 kill potential with the three of them.
Okay, this is very interesting. BBTY, he elected to go for Infinity Edge instead of Last Whisper. So once again, he will not be dealing any damage to the Shyvana. So he has to land his damage and his targets onto the squishy members, which will be Zac and Lloyd in team fights. Or else if he spends any time shooting the Shyvana or double 7X in this case, the amount of damage that he will be dealing to them will be very gimped as compared to the amount of damage that we see AD carries dealing.
So the Baron buff has actually ran out on the side of Legends, and effectively what they only achieved is taking out the top lane turret. So looks like Legends have kind of hit the point where they have not been so decisive after all, because you know, thinking back about the promotional tournament again, yes, their early game is very strong, mid-game shot callings are extremely solid, but when it comes to closing out games, they tend to struggle a little bit more. So 10,000 gold lead for the Legends right now. They just need to, you know, sort of rustle up and, you know, find the picks that they want to. And speaking about picks, here comes Slayer with the teleport.
And there we go, successful lockup onto him, but they aren't able to find a kill on him just yet as he uses the Satchel Charge to disengage from that. Warlock is now trying to find the engagement using the Dragon's Descent right in, and now BBTY, he's dropping the Kali right down now, and are they going to find a kill on the Warlock? There goes the start is good, and Slayer will be on the killing spree as he picks it up for himself. Zac immediately goes down as the gold card will be starting him up, and that will be a double kill for Slayer, definitely playing this game very well.
It was almost a team fight that BKT needed to actually gain an advantage out for themselves, but Han with a very smart play to zone out the mid laner for Bangkok Titans. G4 was just picked apart right at the side, and this might just be game as Legends now march down to the inhibitor, and you know, they take out the mid one for themselves, and they might just close the game. Nice bubble from Lloyd, but I don't think that's going to be enough. 007X and Lloyd for some defensive duties, and he is going to go down on the kill. Second Nexus turret falls as well. This is going to be game. ISG Legends start the spin off with a victory over the Bangkok Titans.
And the home crowd starts cheering for the local favorites as Insidious Gaming. Now the favorites in representing the Singapore and Malaysian team take out Bangkok Titans in the first game of the Korean Premier League Summer Split.
And I have to say that, you know, overall as a team they have very solid map control. Taking away 5 dragons in a row is no easy feat, but they managed to do it by, you know, once again